Hello, welcome to One Life Wing It. Today it's Good Friday and we thought we'd talk about moaning because everyone likes a good moan.
Good moaning, I was going to say.
Good morning. Very good.
Good moaning. That's a thing, isn't it? What's it called? Hello, hello. Good moaning, everyone. Do you remember? Don't be banging on that desk.
Oh, crumbs.
And making stuff...
Vibrate.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking... that's a bit of bluey for the adults. I was just thinking about this, you know. I was thinking, because we live next to Leanne. Leanne won't ever listen to this. She lives next door to us, got 2 kids. I mean, she might do. I was thinking about when I grew up, like when I was from the age of 6 till I was 16, we used to live on Fraser Square in Nottingham, and we used to play on the street. And there's a man that used to come out called Ben. He's probably dead now. I mean, I think he was old when we were kids, but everyone was old when you're a kid, aren't they? If someone's 30, they're old.
I know.
But he was old anyway, and he had no children that I remember. And he had a really perfect hedge. Do you know what I mean? Really, really perfect garden. Was always the type that was lifting litter up and stuff. And a real moaner. Looked a bit like Mr. Ben. Do you remember Mr. Ben?
Oh, yes.
Do you know what I mean? He looked like Mr. Ben, and it looked like he dyed his hair. Probably did.
Probably did, yeah.
Anyway, he used to go mental. Like we used to play, depending on the time of year. I know, he's trumped. Depending on the time of year, we used to play like soft tennis. You know what I mean? Pelican tennis, I think it was called, the trade name. So we lived on a hill as well. So imagine playing tennis on a hill.
Yeah.
Or we played Kirby. You used to play Kirby?
No.
You know, where you get a football.
Yeah.
And you stand on either end of the curbs.
Yeah.
And you had to throw the ball. It would have been good for you playing netball. So you have to hit the curb. And if it hits the curb perfectly and bounces back to you, that give you a point, and then you have another go. But if it just bounced before
and you're played that.
Oh, it's a really nice game because it's good eye to hand to eye coordination. Yeah. Really good. So we play that for hours actually, Kirby. Or we play like football, but we wouldn't play with a football. We'd play with a tennis ball. And Ben used to come out and he used to go mental. I mean, really mental.
How old were you though?
12.
Yeah, well, I think that's fair enough.
No, listen, I know. I'm 50 now. I get it now. But then, I mean, the irony is that at the bottom of our road, right at the bottom of our road, you know what was at the bottom of our road was cricket pitches, football pitches, all-weather pitches. There was even a ski slope at the bottom of our road, and yet we still played on the street.
Yeah.
And he used to go mad. He used to go absolutely... I mean, he used to moan to me mum and my dad and stuff. And then my dad he'd gears of telling off for a bit, and then we'd go down the field and then come back. But there's no curbs on the field, is there? You can't play,
No.
So I've always said, but this is the point of the whole story. So don't butt in now. The point was, I always remember being a kid and talking to my mates going, when I'm old, right, I'm never going to moan when kids play football outside my house. Cut to 51-year-old man living in Rockstall.
What were you saying the other day?
Kids, and you can see them, they've got a goal though, they have, and they put it up in front of our edge, don't they? They put it up, you know what I mean? They live next door, there's a field down the road exactly the same, and they put it in front of our edge because we've got a fence that can bounce the ball off. But I have to suck it in, and I just think, you know what? At least they're safe, and at least they're having a laugh, aren't they?
You do. But it is annoying. And then when you can see ball marks on the car, you think, oh, flipping heck,
Flipping heck. Well done. You held your tongue then, Joanne. You know what I mean? For a fishwife, that's very good. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's an age thing, though. I honestly think you become an age where you... intolerant. You become intolerant.
I think you do lose tolerance, but there's always been moaners. I remember Mel is another one who will never listen to this, so I'm going to slag her off now. We used to call her Moaning Mel at school because she just moaned about everything all the time, and it was funny because she was just a moaning, blooming, boring thing.
Do you know what I'd have done? I wouldn't have said it. I'd have said Mel, and I wouldn't have said it's Mel, because if anyone listens to it.
She once said to me, I was once listening to one of your podcasts, and I got about 10 minutes into it, and I thought, what am I listening to this for? That's what she said.
Yeah, because she's moaning.
Exactly. Moaning Mel.
Moaning
Bloody
Mel.
moaning
What
about
does she
our
moan about?
podcast. Oh, everything. Magazines, or if someone had said something or done something, or the fact that it was PE next and she couldn't be bothered. She just moaned her way through school.
Why do people moan then, do you think?
I don't know.
What is it?
It's a negative outlook, I think, isn't
on life?
it?
So it's half empty.
I think at that age, with limited life experience, it's probably just inborn negativity kind of
Do you
thing.
think you listen to your parents? I mean, you're the daughter of a policeman, and he must have moaned about things because he sees the underworld of life, the scum of life. So he must moan. Did he moan about people?
I wouldn't say moaned, more slagged them off.
But isn't slagging off the same as moaning?
It is, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose it is, isn't it?
It is. It is funny.
But I think your tolerance is a big deal at our age now. I think we've been round the block and you
Didn't
just
we
you
moan
can't
though
be
at school?
bothered.
Didn't you moan about doing cross country? And go, well, why am I doing this?
No, I liked
Why have I got
it.
to wear? Why have I got to wear school uniform? You know what
Yes,
I mean?
I will have moaned about wearing a school uniform.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Tucker Jenkins and Benny Green. If you're a bit younger than us, you won't know Grange Hill. You probably will, but it was a different programme, wasn't it? When your kids were growing up, Grange Hill. That's why it's gone off the telly. Well, in our day, they used to have things like a sex scandal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where some 16-year-olds had sex, that were it, or a drug scandal. Anyway.
I think there's a lot of pleasure to be taken from moaning, though, isn't there? You know, just having your say kind of thing, having a good old whinge and a complain about things. It is very therapeutic.
But the thing is, though, is that you can get... Actually, I try and moan all the time. I quite like moaning.
I know you do.
I like moaning, but I enjoy doing it in a constructive and creative way, whereas it makes me laugh.
Yeah.
And the more I moan, and the more... it's like driving. What's my big moan at the
hilarious.
moment? What's my big moan at the moment?
Indicating. Nobody indicates.
No one
anymore.
indicates anymore. Listen, podcast listeners, wherever you are in the world, no one indicates anymore. Now, you'd have failed your driving test if you didn't indicate because you're turning left. And what annoys me, you see, I'm going on about it now, but this is like a public announcement service. This is because after austerity, you don't have things like Thingy the cat telling you not to put things in the oven. Don't put your pet hamster in the oven because you might kill it.
So here's Mark Whiteley to reintroduce it.
Yeah, but why don't you indicate? You sit there at a roundabout and someone enters the roundabout and comes off the junction that you're at. And you go, if you'd have indicated, I could have gone. I could have been home
it's
30 seconds sooner.
Yeah, it is interesting because we know that
that's the recycling bin.
we know that we've all been taught to indicate. So, and like you said, we'd have failed our driving test. But you're right in when you say, well, why don't people indicate? It's laziness. So somebody starts it, don't they? Someone starts being bow and idle and thinks, oh, I can't be arsed indicating on a roundabout. I'm obviously turning left because I have to.
Yeah, and
so
everyone knows I go to work every morning.
Everyone knows which way I go to work.
Don't they know who I am?
But then, because you don't, other people go, oh, no one said, well, I'm not bloody indicating then, don't they?
Yeah, I'll just keep driving around the roundabout. That's what I'll start doing, actually. I'm just going to get up in the morning because I don't have to go to work like they have to go to offices and factories and mills and things. I'm just going to go down to the biggest roundabout I can find and keep driving around it without indicating. How about that? Hey? How about that?
That'll amuse us.
Yeah, and I'll ring the newspapers and make a national thing of it. National Indication Day. That's another thing that bugs me and all. Every day... Every day is a national bloody day.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
What's that all about?
Yeah, never had that. Well, mind you, we never had Twitter or Facebook, did we? No one cared. Now and again, you'd get it on Blue Peter, wouldn't you? And they'd say, oh, it's national, and it'd be something big like
well, it was
cancer.
Always a big thing. It was cancer, no smoking, like proper
well, it's like they have National Tripe Day.
I know they do. It's ridiculous.
Who eats tripe?
National Ambutty Day. And it is mental.
That's stupid. That's a stupid thing, Joanne. You're just being ridiculous now.
No, I'm telling you, Google it.
Ambutty Day?
Yeah.
Really?
Really? Fish and Chips Day. There's a Fish and Chips Day.
See, it was International Theatre Day the other day. That annoyed me. I work in the theatre and it irritated me because I thought it's just the big theatres now going, oh, aren't we good? Aren't we, don't we get loads of funding from the Arts Council and the councils and blah, blah, blah. And I thought it's not about you. It's about theatre. And the small little theatres that are doing it above pubs and the people that are doing it at bus stops and all that kind of theatre. And yet we've still got to listen to the National Theatre and the RSC and the blooming... You know what I mean? I tell you what, I don't think I can do this podcast.
I'm just getting really irate. I don't
Well,
think
the more I go on
much.
now, the more I can remember. I just keep thinking, God, no one's indicating anymore. I am going to do that though. Monday morning, not this Monday, obviously, because it's Easter Monday, and no one will care. They'll just go, God bless you, I forgive you.
Oh yeah.
But next
Religious.
Monday, when it's really busy, when the schools are back at school,
Yeah.
right, I'm going to put a big sign on my car going, start bleeding indicating. Or I'm going to do this every day and make you late for school.
See, I don't think I moan. The only thing I moan about are politics, I think. I do get, but then I do get really upset and really cross.
Hang on.
What?
I'm just taking in that last sentence that you said.
What?
The only thing I moan about is, I think you're probably right actually. It's social media, you moan about that loads.
Yes, I do moan.
You've just come off Facebook. You've
Yeah.
moaned about it that much. Like we're bothered. And, Mark Zuckerberg is on the phone the other week going, just tell her to go back on. If she goes back on, I reckon we can pull it through. And I'm going, no, she's adamant this time. You've really pissed her off this time. You made her vote Labour.
I
You
never
made
realised.
it stay in the EU.
I had no idea. I was so malleable.
I know. Yeah, it's all the thickies, isn't it? That makes you laugh, doesn't it? That makes me moan though at all.
That makes me
all
moan.
the thickies.
See, that's why I love James O'Brien on Twitter, because all he does is moan.
It is. It is.
It is fun. It's fun moaning.
But yeah, politics at the moment though is
We're
really
in a bad
making me
time.
moan.
Yeah, we're in a bad place.
It's
really.
like 1973 all over again.
Yes, it is. I know.
At the moment, if the power went off, I
You
wouldn't
wouldn't be
surprise.
surprised, would you? I
wouldn't-
know.
You know, it's kind of like every single day you turn on your computer and read something. You know, if it's not Doddy dying, it's something else. And it is. It's like Brexit. It's like Cambridge Analytica. It's like, you know, this one after another. It's
the
like
anti-Semitism.
I don't
What's
get
that?
that. What's that about? You know, I voted Labour all my life, and I've never heard anyone.
Well, all I know is the Tories are a bunch of bigots, and Labour hate anything ist.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah. Basically. The Daily Mail that makes me moan.
oh yeah,
And I tell you what makes me moan a lot actually, and it deeply saddens me as well. And I'm addicted to it. Is I go on like the Lancashire Shout, you know, or the Rosendale Whippet, or the Daily Mail, or the Express, and all those. And I don't want to read them. But they have this thing where they draw you in. It's like the Sun. You don't want to read the front page of the Sun, but when you go to the supermarket, or you can't stop looking.
the headline's usually so ridiculous you feel compelled to have a look what it's about.
Yeah, and then what makes me really sad is the people that are moaning underneath and I think our culture at the moment is in a really sad place.
I do.
It's in a really sad place, and I think that people are really, 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 they don't know what to do. I think, and that's why we've got people like Jeremy Corbyn, who's powerful at the moment, is because we're looking for something. We're looking for anything that's not the old school. And we're looking for something new to come along to help us move along.
Well, we are. I'm not sure about everybody else, Mark. I mean, people who read the
There's
Daily
30
Mail and the
people.
Sun
There's
don't
30 people
understand.
that religiously listen to our podcast. 30 in the world.
You're joking?
No, every
Well,
time
that's
when we release this, there's 30 people. Obviously, you know,
But I
need
don't
to
think
get
the
out
people
more.
who read the Mail and the Sun have no insight, and they read that paper thinking it's the truth, and they're not critically analysing it. They're reading the paper and the news, and that's the level that we're
You
talking.
just broke my heart again.
Well, this is the thing about moaning. There's two aspects of moaning. One, it's either fun and we're flippant and we end up laughing, or we get really cross, which I want to do because my main moaning is politics, and I get ever so upset.
I think at the moment,
and then that's depressing.
I think it is depressing. I think at the moment, it is a depressing place to be. This country. I think
totally
everybody hates each other. It seems.
Yeah.
And even if you put your head above the parapet and say, I've never met a Labour person that's anti-Semitic, everyone jumps down your throat
I know.
and goes blah 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 blah. But I haven't.
No, I haven't.
And
the idea that Jeremy Corbyn is bloody laughable.
anyway, we're getting into politics now.
I know we are. Yeah, I know.
We're
getting bombed.
obviously Tory card holding Conservatives, And we think that the scum, or the population as you like to call them... What are you laughing at?
That's terrible.
That is terrible. Well, it is. That's what they want.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
It is. Whip up hatred and this is what you get.
I mean... But the thing, you see, we had a meeting this week, didn't we? We're doing this project at the moment called Snicket, which I'm sure you'll hear about.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Who's be on all the social media. But anyway, we're doing this project about the shoe industry during the late Industrial Revolution in Rosendale Valley. I can hear you snoring already.
No, it's interesting.
It is interesting. No, honest. We talk about knocker-uppers and all sorts of stuff. But we was talking to someone last week, weren't we? And we were moaning about how the conditions that these people were in. And we're looking at it as outsiders, aren't we? And he used to work in the shoe industry. And my complaint was that everyone looks at life through rose-tinted spectacles when they've gone past the really, really hard bit of their life. And we were moaning, going, it was terrible. They treated you awfully.
Yeah.
They didn't pay you very well. The conditions were awful. There was rain coming through the roof.
It was basically white slavery.
Yeah, they gave you 2 weeks off when they wanted to give you 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
And then you're going to me, oh no, but the camaraderie.
The good old days. It was
the good old days, and we all had a laugh, and then someone would get debagged and we'd laugh our heads off and blah, blah, blah. And it's all right living in scrums. And I just want to moan about that. I did just want to moan about that.
Yeah, I know.
And the people. Anyway, where were we? We were talking about moaning. What makes you... Oh, you said that.
See, I don't think I'm a natural moaner, but I think I'm positive. But you're
moaned
positive.
You moaned about me yesterday.
When?
When I said, I'm picking the kids up on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, when you changed all the plans.
I didn't change all the plans. I didn't change all the plans. I just changed a day. And then because your mum will never listen to this. You, stupidly, and it is stupid.
It was actually
I said, maybe we should go to church with your mum. I didn't know that you'd booked.
Well, I was on the phone at the time to her, and you said, we'll go to church.
No, I didn't say maybe we should.
I was on the phone at the time, and you chipped in over the conversation. So I thought, that's probably a nice thing to do. Like, I want to go to church. Anyway, so that plan was made.
That's it then. That's 10 more people gone off our listening list.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's not interesting to anybody, is it?
Well, you moaned about it.
Move on.
You moaned about it, and you're still moaning about it now. And I said, I'll go to church. I'm not bothered. I'll go to church. I'll be the whipping boy. And have to, well, you tell us what you moan about. Don't tell me to move on, ducky.
Well, it's boring.
All right.
Nobody wants to hear the ins and outs of somebody's bloody bicker. I don't think I moan about much. I just crack on with my daily
business. What we're doing a podcast
about
moaning for then?
I'd rather have a laugh than a moan.
So would I. I mean, just drop moaning. Just everything. I don't know whether it's moaning or it's just life, and me expecting life to be easier than it should be, that it isn't. Because life is really, really hard, isn't it? And then you've got people giving you parking tickets. And making your life
harder. We've moaned about that a lot. Yeah, we have.
Do you know what I mean? At the moment, they've taken a photograph of a car that looks like mine. Just before Christmas, the busiest time of our year, when we're going to schools and playgroups and brownies and venues, and we're delivering leaflets and posters and putting things in shop windows all over East Lancashire and Manchester. Right, one or the other of us are driving around, aren't we? And we've only got one car. And they've took a photograph and said, who's driving? And I went, I don't know. I have no idea. But on the form, so this must drive them mental. It must drive them mental, because on the form it says, was it you driving? Tick the box. If it wasn't you driving, tell us who was driving. It doesn't have a third option saying, if you don't know, tick this box, does it?
No.
So you have to either grass yourself up or grass whoever it's up. But if you don't know who it is... I mean, the photograph was from here to that house, which is how far?
About, crumbs, about...
100 metres. 100 metres away. The back of our car, going into the distance, doing, what was it doing? 34 miles an hour. Right, so we're a mile over the speed limit, right? We're a mile over, well, it's 30 miles an hour, but they give you 10%, I think. So with 33, would have been all right. 34, they sent us a ticket. And at the moment, it's now March the 30th, and we're still moaning to them, going, I have no idea who it is. And I'm actually asking them to take me to court, because I have no idea. I don't know where it's going to go, do you?
No. I think it'll go to court. They'll take you to court.
Oh, I'm just going to moan.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit in court and moan. That's what I'm going to do. What are you laughing at? That's not the worst thing. That's not the worst. We had the blooming council tax.
Oh, I knew there was something else. I was trying to think what else.
I lived in a flat.
Because you're probably going to end up in court for that as well.
But I can't believe that. I missed a payment of my council tax.
It was as you moved, wasn't it? You missed
as
one
I moved
payment.
house, and I moved from. This is Oldham. This is Oldham Council, right? Who are rubbish. They're the rubbishest council I've ever lived in, really. And I'm going to say that, and I think it's true. And if you looked at their record, you'd agree with me. It's absolutely rubbish. They pull really beautiful buildings down and build concrete car parks. It's that kind of council. It's rubbish. Anyway, so I moved, and I must have not told them. I don't know. But I carried on paying council tax in my new house the week later.
But they say that you didn't tell them, the landlord told them, but in your head, you're of course just continuing to pay council tax, so why would you be worrying?
So I missed a payment, and they've sent me a bill 5 years later.
Yeah.
That's how incompetent they are, for 400 quid.
Yeah,
and I'm
so
like,
they've quadrupled it, haven't
what?
they?
I didn't even know I owed it. You know, and I must have owed them like 70 quid.
Well, we're waiting for a breakdown now, and I strongly suspect the breakdown will be contacting a debt collecting agency, having a meeting about it or whatever.
Yeah.
But I can't understand. They must have computer systems in place whereby they can search Mark Whiteley, right, he's stopped paying council tax. Where's he now? You're still in Oldham, still under Mark Whiteley, same date of birth, paying council tax. Yeah. Why can't they find you?
Find me, tell me off,
Yeah,
so you need
absolutely.
to do that.
You always a month's arrears from your previous address. Oh, all right. End of. I just don't understand why it's taken them 5 years to find you in Rosendale.
I know.
It makes no sense.
I have no idea. Anyway, so
that's annoying.
Can I just tell the story? It's got nothing to do with moaning, but it's funny.
Go on.
I do this thing just to annoy people that push pens all day long, and I know they've got to, earn a living. And some of you probably push pens for a living. I have no idea. But this, I was talking. I rang up the hotline. It took me 28 minutes to get through. Right, I was being held. You are now caller number 7 and all that. Number 6, number 5. That's incompetence to me. If I'm trying to get through to pay a bill, that is an incompetent council, and I don't care about austerity. I don't care, because I've got my life to live as well. And if it happened on the other foot, they'd charge me, wouldn't they? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so this girl answers the phone, and she tells me her name and stuff. And I said to her, just to let you know that I'm recording you. And she went, oh, you can't record me. I said, I can record you. I can do what I like. Do you know what I mean? And she went, oh, and she shut up, didn't she? And then she said, I need to speak to my supervisor. So off she went. 15 minutes later, she came back and said, my supervisor says he'll ring you later. Can I take a number? So we forgot about it, didn't we? And then at the end of the day, the supervisor rang up and he said, can you tell me that you're not recording? And I said, no, I can't tell you that I'm not recording. And then we had this standoff for about 10 minutes about him telling me the law on recording. And I'm going, yeah, you're wrong, mate. No, you're wrong. Because, see, do you not remember that story about them? Am I just talking rubbish now?
A little bit. Carry on.
I was just going to tell you a story about, because you can photograph anyone or video anything as long as you're on public. If you stood on the road outside our house, you can video into our house, into the windows and anything, and you have complete rights to do that.
Yeah.
But people think that they own their image on the street. So if I walk down to Lidl now and I took photographs or video of people on the way or recorded them on the way, they think that they have rights over that.
Why would they think that when they know all about the British paparazzi? Everyone knows the press just photograph on long distance lenses.
Well, they know about CCTV as well.
Yeah. So why would they think that?
Well, they do. They do. He did, didn't he? He says, no,
you can't record.
You can't record me. I haven't given you permission. And I said, I don't need your permission to record you. And then we had this massive standoff. And I just do it. I wasn't recording him in at all, was I?
That's pointless.
Well,
it was a pointless conversation anyway.
It
There's
was.
no point recording it.
I know. But it was funny. We just found it really, really funny, didn't we? Which
It
was really,
was funny because
really,
it was,
really
it
cruel.
was I know it was a bit bullyish.
It was
but,
really, because he was a bit special, I think, wasn't it? And he was the
limited-
supervisor.
I prefer to use the word limited. Maybe not special. Limited.
Well, he was. He probably went there from the age of 14 or whenever they leave school in Oldham.
Yeah.
It's probably about 12, isn't it? And he's worked his way up from, sweeping the streets and stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. We need people to sweep streets, don't we? And he's made it to supervisor, council tax division. And I'm moaning now, look. I'm moaning. And I know we need these services, but I'm moaning because the service is rubbish.
I think it's fair enough. At the end of the day, we do pay an awful lot of council tax and kind of pay for them. They ought to be good.
Hey, but I
At least be good at the
I
job.
moaned to our council last week, didn't I?
Oh yeah, about the fly tipping.
Why don't you tell them that? Because they're sick of my voice now.
No, there was some fly tipping down
We
just
took
at
the
the
dog for
bottom
a
of
walk,
our
don't we?
street. Yeah, we walk past it every day. In fact,
There's a fridge.
it's a
There's a
fairly
fridge.
regular occurrence, isn't it? That
Oh,
wasn't a one-off.
Well-
it happens there. It seems to things get dumped there fairly regularly.
That saddens
don't
me.
they?
It doesn't. But it really saddens me. It saddens me that members of our community think it's all right to stop their car, open the boot up or the van or whatever, and take a fridge off the back and throw it onto wasteland.
It's a mentality I really, really can't get my head around.
Why should we moan about that? I mean, we
ought to moan about
I wish
that.
I had my video on and videoed them.
And you were quite right to photograph it and put it on Twitter, but they did something about it. You moaned at them.
I moaned at the council.
Yeah, at the council, and they
And
thanked you.
I actually didn't moan at them because I thought if I moan at them,
No,
it's
you
not
were
their
very
fault.
pleasant, yeah.
I actually moaned about the people
and
doing this.
and got a really good result
I did
because
get a
they
really
said
good
thank
result.
you very much. Whereabouts exactly
Yeah.
is it?
And
And
I-
they came and removed it,
And then I praised them.
and you praised them.
I
So very good result there.
I did.
But it'll happen again, which is really, really sad. And I think at the end, you've just got to keep reporting it, haven't you? But then it is that
But then
broken
it's
window
talking to-
syndrome, isn't it? When you make your surroundings unattractive and it becomes unattractive, and that unattractiveness is the norm, and nobody gives a toss.
Well,
Everyone just throws everything everywhere.
I quoted that theory of the broken window,
Yeah.
which is really good actually. The theory of the broken window was written about, I think, in the 1970s, and Mayor Giuliano. This sounds like a really clever podcast now, doesn't it? Mayor Giuliano in New York took it on. Zero tolerance, he called it, though. So what happens is if you walk past a factory, let's say, and it's got a broken window,
Yeah.
you think, well, no one cares about that because
Yeah.
the window doesn't get broken. So you pick up a stone. Well, not you, but someone else picks up a stone,
Yeah.
breaks another window. Before you know it, all the windows are broken.
It's worthless, so you might
And then,
as well.
then
yeah.
people break into the place, then you get squatters, then it gets burnt out, and then before you know it, from that broken window,
Yeah.
there is no building left. And it's the same thing. If I walk to a bit of wasteland and put a bin bag on that wasteland, I guarantee within 2 weeks, because that's what was happening to that where that fridge was, is that people were just adding to it.
It's the same thing with the indicating. Once one person starts doing it, people are sheep. And they don't think. No, people don't tend to think too deeply. And once one person does something and it's a lazy
Do you know
way
what I've
to
just
do
thought?
something, other people
It's systematic of a selfish community.
It's very
and
selfish.
I think we have a really selfish. I think we have a very right. This is really moaning now. Quite a right wing country at the moment.
will. We definitely do.
And I think that people are. I mean, the vote to leave was a selfish vote. We're all right, Jack, kind of thing. What, not thinking about other people and how we, and Europe and us and the
broader
world
picture,
and peace and trade and blah blah blah. Everyone's getting really selfish. So I think that people don't indicate, and this is really mental. And I'm going to get slagged down, but luckily
You won't be able to hear them.
I won't be able to hear you. But I think that's the same thing.
I agree.
think it's systematic.
It's completely the same thing. It's selfishness. It's laziness. And if somebody sees somebody taking a shortcut that's worked for them, they think, why should I get in my car and take my fridge to the tip? Chuck it there. That's what they do.
Why should I indicate around this
Why should I
corner?
bother indicating? He done.
Yeah.
It is the same psychological process, which is just sad, really. So then you need somebody with a bit of intelligence and a bit of character to stand up and take a stand and say, we don't do that, and manage it.
Who's that then?
Like it's you putting your thing on your car saying about indicating and driving round and round and round about. But it's still making a point, isn't it?
It is. Do you know what? Do you know what it does? it makes me sad. It makes me really, really sad at humanity. And I think, it's like litter in general. I mean, everybody hates litter in general. And because it makes the place look terrible. And all those people that, people, their argument will be, well, we pay people to pick it up. Well,
it's no argument.
But if you could pay those people, instead of picking up your litter, to plant trees,
to paint the railings, and things. I know, exactly.
They can use their time better than picking up fag ends and stuff.
What saddens me, you say who's doing it, and when we took our Bill's mate out with us, do you remember? And we were up a mountain. He was literally up a mountain.
How old is he? He must be 11 or 12.
He's 12. And then he dropped It was at Snowdonia. Then he dropped all his sweet wrappings all around our caravan on the caravan park. And this is a nice kid from a nice family.
But he's been taught to do that, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
He's been taught to do that.
Which is incredible.
What would your grandma do if you dropped it?
Mental.
Would she give you a whack?
She would absolutely be made to pick it straight up and march to the nearest bin and put it in a bin.
My grandma, I told you my grandma what she used to do. She's a little old lady. I mean, she was in her 60s or 70 then. But if someone dropped something, she'd go, "Excuse me," in a little voice. "You dropped something." Like that. And they go... And if they said, "Oh no, it's just rubbish," she'd go, "Oh, do you want to pick it up and put it in the bin?"
It just depresses me now that we've got kids who are doing it. So you think, oh, great. So you've got another, 60, 70 years on the flipping planet, and look at you already. Look at state here.
Do you know what now? I wish we hadn't done this podcast.
Oh, I'm depressed now.
I'm really depressed now.
I'm going to have a gin, me.
So it's 11:15 in the morning, Joanne. But it's everything in it. That's what the NHS is bad. It's why councils are bad. It's like everything's bad. And if you think about, I sound like an old person now. During the war, when we all pulled together, and we made things good. I'm just going to moan and moan and moan. I've had enough.
I've had enough. I nearly switched the news off the other day. I thought, I've had enough now. And I think, I'm there again. I'm going to switch the news off, I think, for a week. And just have a nice little Joanne world for a week.
On a brighter note, we went to see the Passion Play this week, didn't we?
We did.
My daughter was playing Esther. Whoever that is in the Bible stories. But we watched them. They're 9 and 10-year-olds doing the Passion Play, and it was lovely, wasn't it?
Oh,
it was really nice. The music was good. It wasn't just like the olden days music that we used to have to sing.
It was great.
And it got me thinking about a television drama that was on in the early noughties called
The Second Coming.
The Second Coming with Christopher Eccleston and what's her name?
Leslie Sharp.
Leslie Sharp. And so I sought it out. I had a look on the internet and I found it. And we watched it, didn't we? And that was really, really nice because at the end, and it was written by Russell T Davies, and it was a really clever idea because the whole premise of the thing is that he comes again and he's the new Messiah, but he says to the world there is a third testament, doesn't he? And you're going to write it.
So you've got it wrong with religion. You've messed it up. You're still killing each other. There's still a lot of badness and a lot of hate. So you make it up now. Let's take religion away. All religions, every single religion that exists in the world.
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. He did at the end.
Oh,
you jumped to the end, you.
I know I do.
I was telling the story of the whole. It's like 3-hour story.
I'm trying to keep it succinct though, so that people remain interested.
Well, of course, they remain interested.
I know, but if you go on and on and on,
I know, but we look at ourselves. We look outside for the answers.
Yeah.
When mostly the answers are within ourselves, and that we should stop dropping litter.
Yeah.
And we should tell other people to stop dropping litter, and then there is no litter.
You've got to write your own script.
Exactly.
Always.
Do you know? And if we say to our counsellors, "I don't want you to do that," and we all say, "I don't want you to do that," if we started dibbing in instead of dibbing out, then maybe the world would be better. That's what the point I was making, is that we have the power. We have the power. Look around you. Look out that window now. Look what man made and woman made.
Yeah.
And then we made the NHS. We made democracy. We've made wars. We've made all sorts of things. We are capable of doing absolutely amazing things and really horrific things.
Yeah.
And I think that most people in this world are really, really happy for it to be nice and to do nice things and put nice things into the world.
Most people are good without a doubt.
And it's the minority, the tiny minority, who we think and we put on this. I don't know what it is. Like the Hitlers of the world, and you know, the idiots of the world that we put on this pedestal for some strange reason, or some media. I don't know.
Media has a lot to answer for, Mark. Brainwashing, a lot of manipulation goes on. A lot.
Not in this house, it don't.
Not in this house, obviously, but I know.
But it does. It probably does. Our social media, we look at it and think, oh, that's terrible, don't we? And we see things from the left.
I don't know. I
do.
see things from the left, but I would like to think that I critically appraise everything. I'm not never just told anything.
I think you're shown things now, and you take it for read that they're true.
No,
you do. We all do.
Refute that.
We all do. We all do. The only thing we haven't done this week is that anti-Semitic thing. Is we've both gone, well, I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that, and it keeps rearing its head and stuff. But we've never seen it.
We didn't see any truth in the Brexit argument.
And then this morning,
did we? We didn't see any truth in the Brexit argument either. So I would disagree with that.
Staying
and the other thing is, what do I keep saying? What are we told? We're not given all the information, so we're always making a bit of a stab in the dark, we're always second guessing.
Always moaning about Brexit, you are, aren't you? Okay.
That made me laugh when I met Alice the other day. My daughter's 20 and she's at university in Leeds, and she said they'd been on a big night out and obviously had quite a few drinks, the students. And she said the next day one of her friends said, I saw you in the street crying on your mobile phone at midnight saying, nobody ever wanted Brexit. It made me laugh. I said, you're a rat chip off the old block. Yeah.
We won't get Brexit. I've said it now, look. I've said it publicly. It's going on mine, that is. We won't get Brexit.
No, I don't think.
I don't think. I think now. I can't believe we're talking about this. It's the big moany.
We'll just be on about it for hours.
And people listening, I've heard it all before.
I know.
From, really, really clever people. But maybe what we need is people like me to stand up, to become a counsellor, to take on the world with a good woman by my side, and we can do like nothing. we can move fridges from wasteland. Can't we?
And pick sweet wrappers up.
Yeah. Will that do?
I think we've exhausted it, do you?
I don't. I could carry on all day.
Well, we will, won't we, basically? We're just going to switch the microphone off.
We will. Well, have a lovely week. Have a lovely Easter. God bless you all.
Have a good weekend,
If
everyone.
you believe in God, obviously. I mean, that's another moan, but let's not go there. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.